Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Values Unpacked. I'm one of your co hosts, Irving Henry. Thank you for taking the time to join us today on what we believe will be a meaningful journey of discovery, reflection, and growth.
And I'm your other co host. My name is John Chester Innes. Whether you're listening from your home, your car, your workplace while exercising, or somewhere halfway around the world, I sincerely appreciate you choosing to spend your next few minutes with us.
Today isn't just the launch of another podcast, it's the beginning of a community, a space where we can have honest conversations about the values that influence how we think, how we lead, how we serve, how we love, and ultimately how we live.
So, the title of our podcast is Unpacked, and there's a reason behind that name. Every day we hear words like integrity, leadership, faith, kindness. We hear words like justice, respect, service, compassion, courage, and even resilience. These words appear in mission statements, they appear in graduation speeches, they appear in classrooms, churches, boardrooms, and even in political campaigns.
John, I wonder, have we ever stopped to ask ourselves, what do these values really mean? How do they shape our decisions? What do they look like when life becomes tough? How do we practice simply talking about these values without making them simple? Those are the kinds of questions we'll explore together. This podcast isn't just about pretending to have all the answers because we don't. It's about learning together. It's about hearing different perspectives and while remaining grounded in principles that have stood the test of time. So, over the coming weeks and months, we'll welcome educators, pastors, community leaders, healthcare workers, entrepreneurs, students, public servants, people from different walks of life, so that we can have a rich and meaningful discussion. We'll discuss success and failure, faith and doubt, leadership and humility, family and relationships, education and personal development, service and sacrifice, culture, community, and even current events and ethical decision making.
Hopefully, during these podcasts, we're also able to celebrate victories and also wrestle with difficult questions. Hopefully, we'll also be able to challenge each other to grow because, values become meaningful only when they're lived. But before we go any further, let me introduce myself a little better. As I stated before, my name is John Chester Innes, and I've been blessed to serve in several different capacities throughout my life. Professionally, I've worked in diplomacy and international affairs, and I represented my country in regional and international settings. That experience, on the one hand, taught me that while nations may differ in culture, in language, in politics, and in even their priorities, people everywhere, they value honesty, they value dignity, they value respect, they value peace, and they also value something called hope. Those experiences broadened my personal perspective and deepened my own appreciation for the importance of dialogue, the importance of understanding, the importance of principled leadership. Today, I am an educator, and so those lessons in that I've learned in my current professional pursuit, they also have the potential to shape a life. So beyond my professional work, I My faith has been a foundation of my journey as well. My faith has taught me that leadership begins with service, that whatever influence we exercise and enjoy, those things grow out of integrity, personal and otherwise. And I've also learned that success without character is incomplete, and
Mm.
that our greatest purpose is found in serving both God and others. And those convictions have certainly influenced every chapter of my life. So whether it was in diplomacy, whether it's in education, whether it's in my faith ministry, my church ministry, or whether it is through whatever community service activities I'm engaged in, I have learned that people may forget our titles very easily. They may forget our accomplishments and our degrees, but they will really forget how we treated them. And that to me is one of the essence of values.
And just to introduce myself also, again, I'm Irving Henry. I've been working in the social service field for the past 26 years as a mental health professional. I've seen uh, values being valued, if you will. I've seen many different things, and I have a variety, a wide scope of experience. I also have had family centered Christian values and background that shape how I see the world. And I believe my experience working in social services, dealing with different backgrounds and personalities, and my experience in church and leadership has taught me some valuable lessons that I hope will help in our conversations as we go through these podcasts from week to week. The answer is simple. Because we live in a world overflowing with information, but often hungry for wisdom. Every day we are bombarded with opinions, news headlines, social media posts, podcasts like this one, videos, commentaries. Everyone has something to say. Everyone has an opinion. Yet, genuine conversations that encourage thoughtful reflection sometimes seem harder to find. We wanted to create a space where conversation are respectful, where disagreement doesn't become division, where questions are welcome, where experience are valued, and where timeless principles can help us navigate modern challenges. You don't have to share every perspective, but I hope every episode leaves you thinking more deeply than before.
Absolutely. And also, one of the things that you'll notice is that this podcast isn't just confined to one subject. Some weeks we'll discuss leadership, some weeks we'll explore education. We'll also talk about parenting, mental health, mental resilience. We'll talk about faith. We'll talk about technology and culture. We'll also have an opportunity to discuss relationship and ethics and community development and public service. And so the common thread will always be values. And because values influence everything, how we vote, how we spend our money, how we lead our organizations, how we raise our children, how we even treat strangers, how we respond during conflict, and how we define success, how we face disappointment. Values are always going to be present, even when we don't recognize them. Another important aspect, I believe, of this podcast is that we don't want it to be one sided, right? We want this to become a conversation. We would like you, whenever you're engaging with us, to leave your comments, to ask your questions, to even suggest topics that we should handle, we should discuss, right? And we even want you, our listening audience, to share your own experiences. And who knows, some of our future episodes may answer some of your questions that you have submitted. Others may respond to issues happening in our society and in our world. And so this podcast, we believe, belongs to everyone. Everyone should be able to have a voice.
That's right.
And we want everyone to be able to engage and be willing to engage respectfully and thoughtfully. So, as someone who has spent years in working in ministry, in international affairs, and in education, I have discovered something remarkable, Irvin. I have discovered that people are always searching. They're not simply searching for success, but they're searching for significance. Not merely for information, but for wisdom. While
That's right.
some seek for achievement, a lot of people are not necessarily looking for achievement proper, but they're looking for purpose. And purpose is always, I believe, built on values.
Absolutely, absolutely. At the same time, John, the podcast welcomes listeners from all backgrounds. My hope, and I'm sure yours as well, is that regardless of one's belief or life experiences, they'll be able to find conversations that challenges their thinking and strengthen their character and encourage them to live with greater intention. Before we close this first episode, I'd like to leave you with one question. If someone who knows you well had to describe your life using just three values,
Hmm.
what would they say? Would they describe you as compassionate, dependable, honest, generous, patient, courageous, faithful? Would their description match the person you hope to become? Take a few moments this week to reflect on that question. Maybe write your answers down. Talk about it with your family. Discuss them with a friend because growth begins with honest reflection. Thank you once again for joining us for this inaugural episode of Values Unpacked. We are genuinely excited about how we move forward with this venture. We got inspiring guests, meaningful conversations, and practical lessons that I believe will encourage all of us to become better leaders, stronger families, wiser professionals, and just better people in life. Those simple actions help others discover these conversations and become part of this growing community. Until next time, remember this: values are more than beliefs we hold, they are the choices we make, the habits we cultivate, and the legacy we leave behind.
I am absolutely excited. Well said. I'm excited about our future episodes. And I want to thank you all for listening to us. I want to thank you all for engaging with us. And those of you who are going to be looking at us via all of the different platforms that we'll be using, YouTube, StreamYard, and so on, and even being posted on Facebook. We ask that you please just encourage us, send us your thoughts and your words of inspiration. And we do look forward to seeing you in our future episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you next time.